Welcome to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, the podcast where we dive deep into the journey from vision to reality. I'm Kelly Jackson, your guide on this path of self-discovery, transformation, and intentional living. Here, we explore everything from mindset shifts and personal growth to spiritual alignment and entrepreneurship, sharing insights, stories, and actionable wisdom to help you live a life in harmony with your dreams. Every episode will dig into what it means to not only dream big, but to actually consciously create the life you envision. Let's turn your dreams into real life. Before we begin, let's land for a moment. You showed up today because part of you is turning toward truth, expansion, and alignment. Sunday Spark is my weekly email created for the ones who are ready to live life in full ownership, to build in rhythm and grow from a place of ease. Each letter includes insights, activation prompts, and practical tools woven through my holistic trifecta, which is optimal health, positive relationships, and wealth building. And the best part? It's only 45 to 90 seconds to read. It's a quick spark, a gentle activation, something you can carry into your week. If you want that kind of moment in your inbox every Sunday, you're invited. Sunday Spark is there. It's ready when you are. The link to join is in the show notes. You mastered a version of yourself that was built for protection. You learned how to survive what tried to swallow you. And now you're being asked to become someone built for expansion. Someone who can hold grief and transformation and intuition, rejection, rebirth, love, and uncertainty at the same time. Okay? And in mid-December energy, especially as we close the year, people are feeling like they're standing in this hallway between what they were and what they're becoming. Okay? The void is not a waiting room. It's a pressure test, a frequency test, a nervous system calibration moment, a cognitive load checkpoint. Okay? It's a portal for a new identity to land. And this episode is where we're going to be talking about how to navigate that space without collapsing into old coping or numbing or performing or fixing or rushing clarity. Okay? Take a breath. Let's get into it. All right. First things first. The void has a job, okay? The void is a container. It's this energetic space that's between identities where your system sheds what it can no longer hold. And it feels like emptiness because it's unfamiliar, not because nothing is happening. The void holds the tension so you don't have to, okay? If you are feeling like you don't know who you are right now, congratulations. You're not supposed to soundbite that, okay? The void is holding the blueprint while you do the becoming. That's not collapse, that's reconfiguration. All right? The ego hates the void. The ego panics. When outcomes don't match expectations, the ego goes full panic mode because it thrives on certainty. And when you feel untethered, your ego thinks you are dying. But it's not death, it's ego detox. And in every transformation threshold, the ego protests because it can't detect what it can't define. Okay? So if you are feeling unsure or awkward or unmoored, guys, it's not a failure. It's identity molting, okay? Snakes do not ask permission to shed. Neither should you. The void, it's a frequency test. Okay? You don't manifest in the void by thinking harder. You manifest by noticing what refuses to release. What do you keep watering? What energy are you terrified to feel? Like, the void is checking your frequency. Are we surrendering? Are we white knuckling? What's happening here? Well, guess what? The field responds to what you are, not what you think you want. So the void is prepping the nervous system for new reception. Okay? And what's happening there in the void is it's narrowing that next identity. Okay? So you cannot fully receive what you won't let go of. And the void is removing options to reveal your true north. This isn't abandonment. This is subtraction into sovereignty. The void has a job, okay? It is removing the noise so the signal lands. And if you don't force clarity, you hear the real stakes. All right? Less forcing, more flowing. Now, here's something that you might not love to hear, but I got to say it. You don't live the void once, okay? You revisit voids every time you expand past a ceiling that you once had, all right? It comes back because you're widening capacity, not because you're shrinking. And that's a misconception. So the void doesn't mean you're going backwards. It doesn't mean you're shrinking. If you keep moving forward while feeling the discomfort, guess what? You're passing the test, okay? The void's not regression, guys. It's like arrival mid-check. So don't be freaked out if you're back in the void, all right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about surrender. This year for me has been my year of surrender. I can't even count how many times I've journaled on surrender, talked about surrender to some of my mentors and close people in my life. And it's truly been like the overarching theme of 2025 for me is the year of surrender. And surrender is a verb, okay? Letting go is a decision, and it's not a collapse. It's a conscious decision. And letting go does not mean falling apart. It means that you are choosing to stop gripping what was never even yours to control. And letting go is you saying, I no longer negotiate with outcomes. It's internal leadership. It's not emotional bypassing. And letting go is not giving up. It's ceasing this tug of war that you were never meant to win, okay? So do yourself a solid and be okay with letting go. Surrender is behavior as well. So, it's not a feeling. So much of what we talk about are feelings, but surrender is not a feeling. It's a verb. Like I said, you surrender by what you do. opening your palms, unclenching your jaw, slowing your exhale, interrupting your stress addiction. I gave you lots of ways to do that in the previous episode. It's refusing the script of performance, okay? It's honoring emotions without prescribing exit strategies and letting the void hold the tension. You know what else surrender is? Safety. The nervous system regulars surrender as safety. And so you soothe burnout by reducing the stakes war that's happening inside of your body. Because that is what it feels like sometimes. And surrender signals, okay, we can relax. We're not being hunted, right? And modern humans burn out not because survival is required, but because performance is rehearsed. It's exhausting. Surrender is still forward moving too, though. It still moves forward. It's active. It's not passive. It's dropping the tug rope, okay? And it's walking forward anyway and allowing grief to process naturally. And choosing to stay in your body without auto-fixing or numbing or dissociating. Surrender is the gateway to integration. I believe in my case, that's why I've experienced so much integration and embodiment this year, is because of the intention behind my surrender this year. It's been such a conscious choice. And as we are nearing the very, very end of this year, and I've been spending some time reflecting, like deeply, as I always do, but I gotta say that ever since the 11/11 drop of the 1-year anniversary episode, that truly was like the beginning of a next level type of, I don't even know how to describe it quite yet, but it's been a whirlwind, and I've just been doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of writing, a lot. And what I can confidently say at the end of a year where surrender was my word, I guess you could say. I didn't actually choose it in January as like my word is surrender. That wasn't like that sort of thing. What is your word for the year? Oh, my word is surrender. But probably in January, I just realized that was the theme. A whole year of focusing on surrender, it's like blown the lid off of, I don't know, everything. And it feels so good. I'm grateful. Surrender creates the space where integration actually happens. That's, I think, the biggest message in that is what I've learned is, So I want to talk a little bit about pain, okay? The root of pain is often environment. Your body's not your enemy itself. Your body is not your enemy. It's responding perfectly to the soil you planted it in. And if pain feels familiar, it's not because thriving is wrong for you. It's because collapse and people-pleasing and approval-seeking was safer in the past, okay? And pain persists in the wrong soil. Not because hope is gone, but because change of environment hasn't been introduced. So when we are at the edge of big leaps, the body is going to check for safety every single time. Okay? Well, if I tried and nothing changed, that's not failure. That's pattern resurfacing. And the system checks, well, are we safe to operate at this new identity? And when the threshold of your life shifts, old patterns try to recalibrate the whole room temperature. All right? So just know that that's going to happen, right? Right as you get to take your big leap of faith, your body's going to be like, wait, hold up, pull it back. You're going to know. You're going to know. It's just wanting to know. Your body, your system's just wanting to know, are we safe to operate at this new identity? This is new. We ain't been here before. Ego don't like it because it's not familiar, okay? So that's what I want to say. Attachment to the outcome. So when I was talking earlier about releasing this attachment to outcome is the seed of suffering. That's why I'm saying that, guys, because noticing internal, pardon me, could not get comfy in this seat. All right. Noticing internal attachment creates more suffering than noticing thoughts. Okay, desire itself is not the issue. Attachment is. So when you grip outcomes as these like identity badges, well, guess what? You're going to suffer inside of a story that you're not meant to live anymore. So really want to encourage you to release your attachment to outcome. 2 mantras that I love for that are the same or better. And what's meant for you won't ever pass you by, and you don't want what's meant for someone else. Okay? And guys, this could be related to any kind of outcome, a person, a job, a house, a property, location, like literally anything. Okay? Any kind of outcome that you may have an attachment to. So we're practicing non-attachment. And you will feel happier when you've learned to detach from outcomes. I used to get really attached to outcomes. I really did. Now, the quantum field, the beautiful, wonderful, amazing quantum field, it responds to frequency, not force, okay? Quantum leaps are not earned by trying harder. They're just not. They land when you stop gripping the performance lane and you drop into presence and you feel your emotions without fighting them. And elevate your internal frequency into a state that you can't name necessarily. You can feel it though. All right? Mis hombres, which is my art. It's a collection. I've been speaking, writing, and creating from shadow awareness for years, okay? Shadows aren't monsters. They're educators disguised in aesthetic protest. And the moment you make peace with the shadows, you hand the field a clean frequency to respond to, okay? And if you're not familiar with Mis Hombres, I would love for you to take a moment. I will, in the show notes, have a little link that you can visit and see which guide is speaking to you and see what the message there is for you, okay? We're still talking about pain here. And, your pain was a teacher. Pain plants instruction, not shame. And it wires for strategy, not identity. And it teaches the body what to avoid, not what to condemn. Okay? In other words, pain is information. It's not indictment. So you're going to treat it like information and treat it like the teacher that it is. There is this emotional completion that has to happen. That's going to happen. That's inevitable, okay? So that's what I want to talk a little bit more about. So what happens when we deny emotions? When you deny emotions, the nervous system keeps them stored like code running in the background, and that is draining your bandwidth, okay? So denial delays arrival. You know that thing that you are like really, really, really ready to come into your life? You know what I'm talking about? You know the thing. Guess what? Denial is delaying the arrival. When you're denying your emotions, your nervous system is keeping them stored. Guys, that's really happening. We have to stop denying our emotions. And emotional completion itself is physiological. So emotions complete when the body is part of the ceremony. That means tears regulate, body heat shifts, breath signals safety. Always come back to your breath. And the vagus nerve activates and the heart space expands, all without performing. Okay? So how can you write this new narrative? Well, reframe does not equal bypass. Okay? Reframe equals choosing a new interpretation after the emotion moves. It's not saying, I'm fine. It's saying, I'm informed, something is shifting. There is an aligned time to feel. And that aligned time to feel, it's a regulatory tool. So yes, give yourself a window to process, not to rush clarity, not to numb the grief, but to honor the duration so that you don't drown in it or shove it down, okay? This is important. When I was going through a really challenging period of my life, it was about 18 months, there was something that I was going through, and I realized that I did not want this thing that was stressful and consuming, and there was just a lot. I didn't want it to just like overflow into like all these other parts of my life and relationships and business and everything. It was like too much. So I said, okay, I'm going to give this thing an aligned amount of time that I'm going to give it my energy. Okay. And so what I did was hired a therapist, a situational therapist. And this time I've had all different kinds of therapists. I've done therapists through insurance before. I've done therapists through private pay before. All different kinds of ways. Going to an office, in person, virtual, Zoom or whatever. And for this particular time, I tried a platform called BetterHelp. And I'm not in no way affiliated with them. I'm just letting you know what I tried. And I had a really positive experience. And so that might be an option for you. But this, because you can choose all kinds of things. They have I don't even know how many, it's been years now, but I don't even know how many therapists they have on their platform, but it's probably tens of thousands or something. And you can actually choose. Do you want it male? Do you want female? Do you want them to be straight, homosexual, bisexual, trans? Like, you can choose all that. Do you want them to be religious, not religious, spiritual, not spiritual? Do you want them, you can just check all of these things so you can actually align with a therapist that aligns with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your lifestyle, your beliefs, whatever the case may be. And anyway, it worked well for me. So what I did, getting back to the aligned part, is that I said, okay, I'm going to work with this therapist for 1 hour a week. And might have even been 45 minutes or something like that, but it was at least 45 minutes. But that was the time each week that I gave my attention to this thing that was going on in my life. I wasn't talking about it to other people. If I thought about it, if something happened, if I felt triggered or whatever, I was just like, okay, on Thursday, when I talk to the therapist, I can talk about this. It was so helpful for me to have this container, this aligned space, aligned amount of time that I was giving this. Guys, that was a regulatory tool. It was giving myself this window to process and not allowing this thing to just spill over into every area of my life where every day I'm thinking about it and it's consuming me. And no, I knew better. I've done that in the past and it didn't go well. So I said, I'm going to do something different this time. And it was so beneficial and I wanted to share that. Now, I want to say something else. Grief is not the enemy. Grief is not collapse. And it is evidence, however, that you expanded enough to feel something real. Okay? So, and sometimes you may be feeling grief if you're going through something and need that aligned time. That's why I wanted to mention that. So let's get back to this though. So letting go, but not losing yourself. Okay? That's important because you don't lose yourself in growth. You lose yourself when you negotiate with your expansion from the old script. Letting go is identity evolution. It's not identity collapse. So we have to shift our perspective there and see it for what it is. Letting go is identity evolution. And you know what's kind of crazy is that safety is like the last identity to get upgraded. Your system has to learn that calm is safe. Grief can move without collapsing identity, and it has to learn the rejection is not exile, because we seem to sometimes catastrophize things in our mind or make them feel bigger, badder, worse than they are, right? And surrender is leadership, and transformation is internal arrival rather than external applause. And your system has to learn all of this because this isn't the way that you've always been. And so it's learning. And the new you, it's not missing, it's being activated in the void right now, or rather, it is activated. It's already activated in the void. And you meet it when you stop rehearsing inside your body, okay? The approval-seeking lane, the collapse again lane, the coping lanes, the people-pleasing lanes, the performing lanes, all of these different things that we do, we stop doing all that and going over all that in our head, and we meet the version of us that is already activated there. I want you to hear this. Presence over performance. Okay. Presence over performance. One more time. Presence over performance. Meditation doesn't silence your thoughts. Meditation is an anchor. It's not absence. And it trains the reticular system. It lowers your cortisol chemically. It increases coherence. It interrupts survival programming. It invites brain-heart coherence. It does all the things, okay? And be present in your meditations. And presence is relieving. Also, it's the language that the body trusts. The body doesn't trust the performance. The body trusts the presence and feels relieved when you finally drop into that presence and let the performance mode go. Presence is the key to the glow, guys. The glow isn't earned in agendas. It's embodied in your presence. You are not losing yourself. You are replacing the energetic DNA that you, or rather that was keeping you in protection mode. And that protest, that flare, that emotional resurgence, okay, that right there, that's the identity check before arrival, which means a full life upgrade happens in layers, okay? And the final layer isn't the breakup of the old self. It is the championing of the most authentic self, the truest self. You dreamed it, and now you're real lifing it in your body, okay? If you are listening to this and you are feeling the void season, the cognitive load test, the identity shedding, the emotional burn, and your system is whispering, I don't want it to be harder, I want it to be truer, then Self-Love Uni is your container, guys. Inside of Self-Love Uni, we don't perform healing. We practice integration in real conversations, in real time, in the body. And you begin on January 15th. The countdown ends on the 15th. The embodiment begins on the 15th. Click the link in the show notes and let yourself receive the upgrade, okay? Will it be uncomfortable at times? Sure. Yeah. But discomfort isn't failure, okay? It's identity reassembly, and it's somatic coherence, and it's emotional completion, and it's peace over performance, alignment over attachment. You know what it is? It's arrival. You're not going backwards. You are becoming someone who can hold more and glow more and do it all without performing. I wanted to keep this one short today because I know it's the holiday season and I know y'all got a lot going on. So this is a short and sweet one. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It. I hope today's episode sparked something powerful within you. Remember, every step you take towards your vision counts, no matter how small. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a second to hit that subscribe button or leave a review. That would be amazing. Or share the podcast with someone who's ready to bring their dreams into reality too. And if you're looking to dive deeper, connect with me on social media at Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, or at BE_what you want. Or visit dreameditThenRealLifedIt.us for more resources on aligning your life, business, and dreams. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep manifesting your dreams into real life. Love you, friends.